So apparently homosexuality is such a debilitating mental illness that it can create such a level of conflict in people of faith that it can drive them to shoot up nightclubs they frequent. Thanks, left media. The specious nature of the argument aside, and the fact that it requires the rejection of direct statements by the attacker to take it seriously, this is actually useful because it drops the secular facade. You see this every once in a while. It's just the whole contrived nature of everything just falls apart. You see things bare for what they are. Much of what we call the progressive left in North America is really the scattered remnants of American religious fundamentalism. God made you gay. No, really. God made you gay. Sometimes they remind us of what they really think. For those that legitimately mean well, please take a step back. Okay, this narrative only harms the queer community. It's all the, self-guilt. It's just all the, this is like, this would have been considered ridiculous in the 60s, okay? Because this is obviously wrong, we don't have to have discussions about hard truths, okay? These discussions have to be about convenient lies. But as mentioned, I'm not naive, okay? Nobody wants to talk about ending the war in Afghanistan. If you talk about the actual motive in the shooting, you need to have that discussion about, are we bombing Afghanistan? Wait a second, I thought the Afghanistan war was over. How are we bombing Afghanistan? So you get the whole secret war narrative blows up, and then, we're still bombing Afghanistan? I thought that was 15 years ago. I thought we went there to catch a bad guy. Didn't we catch the bad guy like 10 years ago? So why are we still bombing there? And what did the people that lived there have to do with it in the first place? That discussion is taboo. It's blackout. Okay, you can't have that discussion in the media. And worse, number one, you can't have the discussion, and number two, if you have the discussion because of the attack, then they win, right? It's a concession. So the media will just continue to propagate the same nonsense over and over and over and over, and then pretend it's confused when the attacks continue. You mean I can't bomb the world with impunity? I thought we had manifest destiny. So it's Thursday morning, 10 o'clock, a little later than I want it to be. I can verify that I'm not getting my tax refunds this year, which, as mentioned, I kind of expected. And I kind of decided that this is a waste of my time, but I do have to make some calls pretty much right now. I can't stay there too long. I'll have to come back around 10:30 at the latest. Remember, in order to make a call, I have to go use a payphone. It's the 1-800 number. Because they didn't even assess it. So I'm in a situation where it's like, okay, if you had run the assessment and then decided that I don't qualify, I could say, okay, you can put the money aside, and then in a few years, once you've pulled your head out of your ass, you can send me a check, right? But if they're not going to do the assessment, then that puts me in a legal area that I don't want to be in. That is an error. So here's the thing. I'm convinced that this whole thing is an error, right? But it's an error brought on by the way the system is designed, which is that they get private companies. They don't care about doing anything that makes any sense. You've got departments that don't talk to each other because everything's privatized, and it's just a consequence of neoliberalism again, right? I know I sound like a broken record, but the reality is that almost everything that's wrong with our society is a consequence of the neoliberal model, and this is just another example of it, right? So, I just can't make sense of the idea that I should not receive the funds because I'm disabled. Like that's an error, right? And I mean, I've got student loan on one side, I've got disability on another, and it's like I'm not getting a rational decision making process. So what do I need to do to get a rational decision making process? Requesting a referral might be what I need to do, right? Because if I request the referral, then they're going to do that. Or sorry, request the assessment. If I can request the assessment and they do it, then I'll look at it and I'll say, okay, well, wait a second here. This is ridiculous, right? So I still have little faith that I'm going to get this for the year, but I have to get an assessment, right? So I got to call them, make sure that they actually do an assessment, and then they can send me the assessment, and then I can appeal the assessment, and then et cetera, right? But I have to actually get it done. So that's what I'm going to be doing right now. When I come back, I'm just going to hop right in the shower, and then head out for my appointment's at 1:30. It's about an hour walk, less than that, so I got to leave around 12:30. Yeah, I got to be in the shower around 11:30ish at the latest. I was going to take one right now, but then I decided, I should go talk to them first, right, and then come back and take the shower. Regarding the show, I'll have to see what I feel like when I come back, but it's high probability. I haven't turned the PC on yet. I've been waiting for how long? So there's no listening. There's not going to be listening today. I did a little bit of editing, but it's more just like, ended up kind of just in a gray space. Knowing that I have to leave in the afternoon, knowing that I'll be gone all night, I might as well wait till I come back. But the upside is that there's no further ambiguity. It'll be done, right? Done. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm a little skeptical, but they told me to call them back next week. What they said was, it's the report that I'm looking for usually doesn't come in for a few days after the notice of assessment, which came in today. So I don't think that really makes much of a difference, but at the very least, he doesn't seem to have the paperwork that he needs to take it to the next step. So I'm gonna have to wait, and I'll come back next week. Yeah, a few more things in here. Take a shower. It's nice and hot in here. It's actually, this is what I like, right? Nice and hot inside. When I go outside, it's cool. And when I come inside, it's hot. When I go outside, it's cool. That's it's great. It's kind of a bleaky day, actually. Bleak, gray. I don't know if it did rain or will rain, but it's rain. It's not raining, but it's rainish. A rainish day. Day's kind of rainish. Anyways, so that's what I'm doing. Taking a shower and head to the appointment's at 1:30. I gotta be out here around 12:30, so I've got lots of time. Alright, I'm running just a tad late. So we're gonna have this talk as I walk. I'm going to a doctor. It's a ear doctor. Like I said, we'll talk about this a little bit more as I start walking. Yeah, so the story here is that I've been dealing with some really nasty, like, I've described it as facial tics. I'm not sure that's really an accurate way to describe it. It's manifested itself as a facial tic, as dysphagia. See, it's the dysphagia that's really concerning to me, right? It's the difficulty swallowing. I can handle a facial tic. It's not the end of the world. But the difficulties I've been having eating for quite a while now are particularly concerning. Now, the actual truth is I have absolutely no idea why what's happening is happening, right? So it's just, I'm completely clueless as to what the source of this is. And I've come up with everything from, the possibility that there's knotted veins or, the ingrown hairs that are keeping my face in kind of a position, right? So it's creating tension, moving it back and forth to, maybe there's a broken bone in there, or maybe I just have a really bad ear infection. Now, whatever's going on in there seems to have something to do with my ear, and it's my ear on this side. I don't know if you can, all I can see is my reflection in here. So, but it's my ear on this side. Yeah, there we go. This would be my left ear. And it's kind of like it's like my ears popped and they never went back, right? So, is that an ear infection? Is that like a damage to my ear? I'm not really convinced that I'm going to get a good answer tonight or today. The appointment's at 1:30. It's about a quarter to 1. I'm not convinced I'm going to get a good answer today, but I feel I have to do this as a process of trial and error, right? Because if it turns out that this doesn't work, if it's more severe than this, then I need to look at options like, did I have a stroke? And I may have. There have been, I've had fainting spells. And, like I don't know what a stroke is like. Somebody says, think back to what a stroke feels like. I can't. And the things that they tell you are only kind of true in aggregate, right? Like on average. So you might have like a feeling in your arm, or you might not, right? Like it's not. If you do, then you should probably be worried. But like, you may have a stroke and not experience any of those classic symptoms, right? So I don't know. I know that I had some issues, and I never figured out what they were, right? So the actual truth is that the symptoms that I've been experiencing are common symptoms from somebody that's suffered a stroke. Now, you're going to say you're too young for a stroke. Well, yeah. And in fact, the episodes that I'm thinking of happened in my 20s. So I was really young. I smoked a lot, though, too. So yeah, it's a part of a process of being rigorous, right? I have to, because if I go through all kinds of other processes and it just figures, in the end, somebody looks at me and says, listen, you have an ear infection. Take 2 of these, call me back next week, right? I have to make sure it's not that. I don't think it is that, but I have to rule it out, right? So that's the task for today. I should have made an appointment with my other doctor sometime in the next week. I'll have to go back probably tomorrow and do that. I actually really don't know what to expect when I walk out of there, so my battery's low. We'll save it for later. She says there's nothing funny there. She put a little wax out of the side of the ear. I feel that was not very thorough. I have a second appointment. I'm going to get a second opinion. But she said see a neurologist, and I agree with her. I'm going to go back next week for a hearing test, just for the fun of it. And I'm going to go tomorrow and talk to my doctor, see if I can get an appointment with a neurologist. I feel that, see, if I have like MS or something, there's nothing they can do about it. If I have a tumor, like I decided a long time ago I wouldn't fight it. unless it was very easy to get rid of, and at this point, like, it's been... But I mean, like, one does not have a tumor in their ear for 10 years. I'd be dead by now. So, like, I didn't gain anything from that other than the claim that there's nothing wrong with my ears. So, but I'm not convinced. The other appointment's not till December. Like I say, I may get stuck in the rain here. I got about a 40-minute walk. Battery's just about dead. No conclusion.